sometimes this is what will come up when you first open Photoshop Elements. It might say clipboard, so you want to make sure that's a 800 by 600 grid. And we want to start now by creating a new layer. So let's call this layer, new layer. Okay, it. And down at the lower right hand corner, we're going to change this later on. We're going to double click on this, double right click on it and call it quad, because we're going to draw a quadrilateral. Now let's draw a quadrilateral. We'll click here and then shift click here to get a line, shift click here to get a line, shift click here to get a line, and shift click here to get a line. Now notice you can tell the midpoints. Here's the midpoint of this side, here's the midpoint of this side, here's the midpoint here, and here's the midpoint here. So whatever size you make it, you want to make sure on your grid you can see what the midpoints are. Now let's start a new layer before we do our next drawing. So layer, new layer. We don't have to keep naming it if we don't want to. And go in the middle here so that we are sure we're going to do a midpoint rotation, and just make a little drawing here. Now let's click it with the magic wand, Control C and Control V it. That'll copy and paste it. And now let's go up to Image, Rotate, and rotate the layer 180 degrees. And you can see this is now rotated 180 degrees. So click on your Move tool and let's move it into place. There it is. Be careful not to make any gaps if you can. You have to fill them in later. Okay, get on the brush tool again and let's do the next side. So again, let's make a new layer, layer, new layer. And let's make our next drawing. Now remember, you're going to go from the midpoint, so let's take it up from here and go like that. Now do the same thing. Magic wand, click the drawing, Control C and Control V it, and then Image, Rotate, rotate the layer 180 degrees, do your Move tool and move it into place. Try to fit it exactly so there are no gaps. Click on your brush tool, and now let's go again. A new layer, layer, new layer. Okay, it, and let's do our drawing. Again, now be sure you end up at midpoint. There it is. Magic wand, click the drawing, Control C, Control V. Image, rotate, rotate the layer 180. Move tool and move it into place. Okay, one more side. Brush tool, layer, new layer. Okay, and let's, now here's the midpoint right here, so we want to draw something that ends up right there. So magic wand, click the new layer there, Control C, Control V. Image, rotate, rotate the layer 180, and now your Move tool and move it into place. Now hopefully we're finished. Click on your brush tool and let's get rid of that underlying quadrilateral here. Let's go to where you have quad, click on the eye, and that will undo it. Now fill in any gaps. Do you see any gaps here? Maybe that's a gap there. Let's fill that in. Now, to make the tiling, we want to do layer, flatten the image, and click on the magic wand and see if the whole thing squirms. Nope, doesn't look like it, does it? Ah, yes it does. Look at that. All right, we're in luck. If it didn't, you'd just fill in gaps. If you had part of it squirming, you would know that you had a gap somewhere. So now we're ready to tile. So let's Control C, Control V it. Click on your Move tool and figure out where. I guess this little part's going to go up there, so let's rotate it. You notice the little curved arrow there outside the box? That's what rotates it. Now when you put the arrow inside the box, that'll move it over. There we go. Okay. Now I'd click on the brush tool and Control C and V again. That'll give us another image. Click on your Move tool. Let's see if we can figure out where this one's going to go now. I think the right here should fit right in there. Let's see if we can do that. Well, let's move it over and now try to rotate it with the curved arrow. Put your arrow inside the box to actually move it. Not quite. We're going to have to get that curved arrow again. Put the arrow inside the box. Almost. Okay. Kind of close, and that is the idea. Click on the brush tool, Control V again, or Control for another image, and just keep going.